I think we can all agree that when it comes to any type of work, employees are your company's most valuable assets. These next two guests are quite the team, and they focus on teamwork in the workforce. Kelsey Buell and Grace Lang from the Burnout Prevention Project are here to shine a little light on the best ways to keep you or your employees engaged in their jobs. Kelsey, welcome back. Grace, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
This is great. I love this whole topic because I think it's a very, very important one these days. So we're just going to get right to it, of course. So, Kelsey, your primary goal of Work Redefined when you work with businesses is what?
Well, it's interesting because I think we could both agree in the past month it's changing a little bit because we're hearing so much commotion about the Great Resignation. And so a lot of people are leaving their jobs, and we find one of the greatest reasons why employees don't stay in their jobs is because there are so many generational differences. I think we have 5 generations now in the workforce, and everyone wants something different.
Right. It's challenging. It's so challenging for, I think individuals when they are in the job to feel like they fit in, like they're working the right way for their for their management or whatever it takes. So that, and then it's tough on the management there too. So okay, obviously it's a challenge, but what are some of the other challenges that we're finding?
Well, we've heard of distance bias, right? Where, what does that mean, Grace?
It's really where right now we're navigating this. Some people are working from home, some people are working in the office, and everyone wants something different, like we've been saying. So really, when you're working from home, sometimes leaders have a bias against, they think when you are with someone at work, you get the daily interactions, you get to feel, and you get to have the quick, oh hi, touches.
Right.
And
Interactions,
sometimes it's hard to feel that when you're virtual. So leaders are really struggling with when it comes to promoting somebody or even just having those conversations, getting to know somebody. It's really hard when you're away from the office.
Okay, that's a very good point. And like you said before, there are so many people working from home. Let's talk about maybe those that have left their jobs for other reasons that are out there. What are you finding?
Well, I think one of the things is employees are looking for a leader that will listen to them and a team that will listen to them. And so if they don't feel heard in their work environment, they're going to go to another organization. And there's kind of this, I've heard this concept, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer in the workforce, where the companies who are doing a good job at listening and keeping their teams engaged, they're acting as magnets and attracting even more and more people, whereas companies that were maybe doing a mediocre job before, they're starting to see more of that turnover and start to really lose their employees to these other companies that are doing a good job.
So what do you recommend that they do? I know that you would get into this in your podcast, of course, but what do you recommend for these businesses?
Well, we just had a great interview earlier this month, and we talked about the power of choice. And we're all navigating these uncharted waters, like we talked about. We don't know what to do, and the answer is to just listen, and leaders just to ask, because no one knows what everyone wants. Everyone wants something different, and those younger in the workforce and those who've been in the workforce for a long time, everyone wants something different. So we found that the answer is just to ask and then to listen, but then also be willing to make a change, because it's so important to give your employees choices.
Right.
Because, like I said, everyone wants something different.
And you had mentioned, too, in the break, we kind of talked about comparing this to children. And the choices that parents have to, we should do that, right?
Yeah, do you want to wear your hair up or do you want to wear your hair down? It's Amanda Torok with Gate City Bank. She's the VP of Culture there.
Okay.
And so she did an interview on our podcast, and she talked about how she does that with her daughter and how that simple concept of bringing choices, instead of telling your employees this is how it's going to be, give them an option A and an option B, or maybe even an option C. And by giving choices, you are eliminating the possibility that someone's not going to find an option that works for them.
Right. Lots of changes need to take place in a world, 2021, 2022, we can't work the way we used to work. And leaders need to understand that too. And they have the biggest struggle, I think, in trying to understand that. And that's where you all both come in and help out with your podcast. And what other events do you have coming up?
Grace, you might as well share.
Yeah. We are planning our first annual Women's Goal Setting Summit for January of 2022. So
Okay.
that's just really women allowing themselves to work on themselves outside of the office, and just a time to dive into your goals, since we're doing those sorts of things. So that's coming up next year. But yeah, we're always looking for people to come on our podcast, and this is just something we're growing and starting small. So we're really excited for that.
And so what do we look up when we're looking for the podcast to join this?
So you can search Work Redefined.
Okay.
It's on, so it's work, comma, redefined. I think there's the hyphen in there, right, Grace?
I think so.
And you're saying re-defined, yeah.
Redefined, Work Redefined. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. You can basically Google it and you'll find it.
Awesome.
So
I love it. Thank you so much, ladies. I love the great tips for everybody, and this can work for big businesses, small businesses. So thank you so much. And we're just getting into this, just touching on it. So there's so much more. Yeah. All right, coming up on today's show, we're talking to the Northlands Rescue Mission about their Mission of Hope banquet and online auction that will support homeless veterans.